Hi everyone, thanks so much for joining me today. Come on with me and let's go ahead and get started. Hello everyone, and thank you so much for joining me today. So in this video we are going to go ahead and make our first swatch. We are going to learn all the basics of crochet through this video. So I have picked up a Clover Amour hook. It is a 4.5 millimeter. This is a pretty good sized hook for a medium weight 4 yarn. I got this yarn from my local Dollar Tree for $1.25. So it is a very inexpensive way to go ahead and start with crochet. This is a medium weight 4. It gives you the information. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and make a slip knot. So in your non-dominant hand, you're going to hold the yarn tail or the end of the yarn. And I'm sorry, I misspoke. In your dominant hand, you are going to hold the yarn tail. In your non-dominant hand, you will have the working yarn. The working yarn is the yarn that goes to the skein. The yarn tail is obviously the end of the yarn. So you're going to hold that in your dominant hand and your working yarn in your non-dominant hand. You're going to let both of your hands touch while making a curl in the yarn. So it will cross over, your yarn tail will cross over your working yarn like so. Okay, now you're going to go ahead and pinch the X with your dominant hand between your index and your thumb. Just pinch the X. Take your working yarn with your non-dominant hand and go ahead and put that yarn through the hoop. Like so. And the hoop that you make with the yarn that you just pushed through, go ahead and put your finger in it. I'm having a great time here. Okay. Once you have your finger in it, it should look like this. A big old jumbled mess, which is perfectly fine. Now unpinch the X. Grab that cute little yarn tail and pull. You have just made a slip knot. Ta-da! Okay. Now, very importantly, we're going to keep our finger in the loop. I was just showing you what it looks like. So we're going to go ahead and tighten up that knot on the finger. Grab your crochet hook. Go ahead and put your crochet hook through the hoop. Hold the yarn tail with your middle finger and your thumb. Just go ahead and pinch it there and remove your finger. You're going to go ahead and take your working yarn and tighten up the hoop. Tighten up the loop on your crochet hook so it looks like so. This is what it will look like. It is flush against the crochet hook, but it can also move freely with no gap. Okay, we're going to hold the working yarn in our non-dominant hand. Let me get this mess out of my way. Sorry about that, guys. Okay, let me put the yarn tail on the right size. So, okay. Your yarn tail should be underneath by your dominant hand that's holding your hook. You can also keep it in your grip, just like so. It's perfectly fine, just like that. You can also not worry about it and just keep it out of the way, whichever you prefer. That's preference. Your working yarn in your non-dominant hand. There are several different ways that you can create your tension. There is a popular method that's going around on YouTube, which is you go in between your ring finger and your pinky, circle around the outside, come between your pinky and your ring finger again, go underneath your ring finger and your middle finger, come over your index, and that is how you create your tension. I personally don't do my tension like this. I was simply showing you because it is a popular method online that a lot of people use. If it works for you, awesome. It does not work for me. The way I hold my tension, because my pinky doesn't communicate with my brain very well, is I will have it between my ring finger and my middle finger. Drape it over both of those fingers there, the index in the middle, like so. And then I will pinch my knot with my middle finger and my thumb while creating tension with my index. This gives me more control over the tension because I have it pinched between my middle finger and my ring finger. And my index just adds and decreases the tension as needed. My tension is not very tight. It's a little loose. It's just tight enough to make the yarn straight. It's not stretched. It's not, what's the word I'm looking for? It's not loose. It's just regular straight. Once you have your tension in place, we're going to go ahead and pinch that knot at the base with our non-dominant hand, the middle and the thumb, just pinch it there. With our dominant hand, we are going to go ahead and point our hook towards our non-dominant palm, like so. We're going to swing the hook away from us, back behind the yarn, and then pull forward. We have just yarned over. As we pull it through this hoop down here, we are going to twist it inward towards or away from us while holding that yarn and pulling it through the hoop, like so. I'm going to do that one more time. Let's see that again. So we pinch the knot. We take our hook, we point it towards our non-dominant hand's palm, swing it away from us, back behind the yarn, catch it in the neck or the mouth of the hook. As we go to pull it through the loop, we are going to turn it away from us, still holding on to the yarn, coming through that hoop, and we have just completed our first chain. That chain is identified by this leg here and this leg here. It forms a V. So we're going to do it again. We're going to point towards our non-dominant hand palm, swing back away from us behind the yarn, grab the yarn with the head of the hook, slightly turn it away from us, going through the V of the stitch and pulling through. That is the second chain. Do it again. Swing back around, catch the hood, catch the yarn in the mouth of the hook. Yeah, I tried to say a whole sentence in a word there. All right, and go ahead and pull it through. And as you're pulling it through, the nose of the hook itself, where the mouth is, the nose of the hook should be coming through the base of that V, like so. We now have 3 chains on our hook. My yarn's getting wonky because I'm going really slow. Okay, so again, we're going to go ahead and pinch the chains. Point towards your non-dominant hand, swing back around, catch that yarn in the neck of the hook, in the mouth. Slightly twist it away from you so that it lines up with the V, and then pull through. When you're preparing for your next stitch, this can slide as much as it wants back and forth. I know with certain ergonomical hooks, like the furls, There is no stop. It just starts to increase in size, but this does actually stop your yarn from going too far because of the placement of where your hand is. It doesn't travel too far up the neck. Okay. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 chains on our hook currently. We don't count the loop that is on the hook, and we don't count this knot down here because that is the slip knot that we made. That doesn't count. So as you can see here, I have 4 chains on the hook. Let's go ahead and make 8 more. So again, we're going to point towards our non-dominant hand palm. We're going to swing around away from us and then come back towards ourselves with the hook. As we go ahead and slide down towards the V of the loop, we're going to turn the head of the hook slightly away from us to line up with that V and then pull through. Sorry guys, if you can hear that, that's my dogs. I have puppers. So now we have 5. Let's go ahead and do it again. Let's swing back around, catch the yarn, pull through the V. Okay. Swing back around, pull through, swing back around, pull through, swing back around, pull through. At this point, you should start feeling your rhythm a little bit. The more you do it, the more you practice, the better you're going to become. So if you feel like you need to go ahead and restart this video, please do so. There is no shame in making chains to heaven. Everybody does it. When I was in my teen years, I started to crochet. I've been crocheting over about 31 years now, and I have about, I'd say about 12 years of experience. And in that 12 years, I have made more chains than I've done actual stitches or projects. Chains are just a great way to get started, and you can never have too many chains because every chain is the start of a new project. And then go from there, whether you're going to do a single crochet, half double crochet, triple crochet, whatever you prefer. So we're going to go ahead and continue now. So I have, there's a V here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and the one that holds the loop is 10. I have 10 chains on my hook. So now I'm going to go ahead and pinch. We're going to point it towards the non-dominant hand. We're going to swing it back away from us. We're going to catch that yarn in the neck of the hook. We're going to turn it slightly away from us and line it up with the V in the stitch and go ahead and pull through. Now I have 11. I'm going to do that one more time. And now I have 12. 12 is going to be the length or width of my project. So my project is the swatch. So my swatch is going to have, it's going to be 12 inches, or 12 inches, my goodness, 12 stitches wide. So because we're going to be learning single crochet next, with single crochet, it's best to do the number of stitches that you want plus 1. So we have 12 on the hook. We're going to go ahead and do one more chain. So we're going to point it towards our non-dominant hand palm, swing it back away from us, pull it towards us, catch that yarn in the neck, slightly turn it away from us as we move it through the bottom of that stitch, like so. So now we have 13, and I'll show you why. So when we start single crochet, the stitch that is holding the loop that's on the hook, we're going to skip it. It's literally holding this hoop. Some patterns do call for stitching into this stitch here. However, for our learning purposes, we will not be going over that today. We will be skipping this stitch right here. All right, so we have 13 on our hook now. We're going to go ahead and skip this 13th stitch right here, and we're going to move into the 12th. So it will be this one right here. Let me see if I can point it out quick. It will be this stitch right here. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and take our hook. We're going to make sure that our tension is good. Go ahead and move your hook into that stitch, yarn over, and go ahead and pull up the loop. Pulling up the loop is a very important part of the process. When you work with a double crochet, it is the leg is very defined in the stitch itself. And so when you pull up a loop, they should be even. It's just the best way to do the stitch. So you have 2 on your hook. You're going to go ahead and yarn over, and again, pull through 2. You have just made your first single crochet. My yarn is a little stretchy, so I do apologize if it looks weird, but that is a single crochet. We're going to go ahead and go into this next stitch here where my thumbnail is pointing. So you're going to put your hook head there. You're going to have 2 on your hook. Go ahead and yarn over and pull through just that stitch. Now you have 2 loops on the hook. Make sure you're even with your yarn. Go ahead and yarn over, pull through, and you have just made 2 single crochets. This is going to start looking a lot better as we progress. It looks a little wonky right now. I was practicing with this yarn off camera, and so the yarn is a little stretchy and it has a little bit of a bounce to it, so it's not really keeping its shape. But I promise you, as we progress, it will look better. And one of the best things to know in crochet is that sometimes you just have to trust the process. Another thing that I want to note, if I didn't already say it, is when you have your hook in your yarn and you put it into your hoop and you tighten it, make sure that this side of the yarn that is closest to you is the side that moves. Okay, so let's go ahead and continue on with our project. Let's go ahead and make another single crochet. So we're going to put it into this stitch here. And I hope you can see that really well. Not that big hole that you see right here. That's where you just made your stitch. That's where those stitch legs are, as you can see there. So you'll want to put your hook head into this next stitch right there. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and put our hook in and yarn over and pull up the loop. So you have 2 on the loop like so. 2 on the hook. Woo! Must be a Sunday. All right, so 2 loops on the hook. If I have misspoken, I do apologize, guys. It's my weekend and I think I'm on vacation. Anyways, we will get through this together, I promise. So you have 2 on the hook. Let's go ahead and yarn over. Go ahead and pull through both. And that is another single crochet. Yay! So, while we have a minute, I do want to point out that this is the starting loop. We're going to ignore that. We can push that down. This V here, this V, 1, 2, it's a V right there. This is the base of the V. This is the start of the next V. This leg and this leg is a stitch. This leg and this leg is a stitch. And this leg and this leg is a stitch. They each make a V in shape. So 1, 2, 3. We have 3 stitches on our hook, and that's how you identify the stitches. Okay, so let's go ahead and continue on with our row. So not in that big hole there, because that's where we just made that stitch, but in this one here, the next stitch, let's go ahead and put our hook through, yarn over, pull up the loop, yarn over, pull through 2. You are going to find your rhythm. Please don't give up. Even if you have to rewind this video 1,000 times and learn this step by step over and over again, everybody learns differently, and sometimes things just take a little bit longer than others. It doesn't mean anything, guys. It just means that you're going to have to be persistent. You've got this. You can do it. And once you learn it, you're going to wonder how you never knew it. Trust me. So we're going to go ahead and put our hook head into the stitch. We're going to yarn over and pull up the loop. Okay, we've got 2 on the hook now. Yarn over, pull through 2. We have now done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stitches. Okay, so let's go ahead and push into the next stitch. Yarn over, 2 on the hook, yarn over, pull through 2. Let's go ahead and finish out the row together. So push into the stitch, yarn over, pull up 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Next stitch, yarn over, pull up 2 on the hook, obviously, yarn over, and pull through 2. Okay. Let's go through it one more time, because I know that this can be daunting and you'll have it for a few stitches and then you might lose it again. I'm here to guide you every step of the way. You will be successful. So into the next stitch, not this big hole here, but the next stitch, we're going to go ahead and put our hook. Okay. Point towards your non-dominant hand, swing back away from yourself, catch the yarn in the neck of the hook, turn it slightly away from yourself, and go through that hoop. You have 2 on the hook, go ahead and yarn over, pull through 2. It's okay if your work doesn't look nice, neat, and perfect. You will learn your tension. You will learn how to do it. You just need to practice. Finish. So we're going to go ahead and put into the next stitch. Yarn over, pull through that first loop. You have 2 on the hook, yarn over, and pull through 2. Next stitch, yarn over, pull up the loop, yarn over, pull through 2. Push into the next stitch, yarn over, pull up the loop. Loop should be even, yarn over, pull through 2. Anytime you take your hook out of your loop, expand the loop away from yourself, because it is very easy for this to get tugged and for you to actually lose stitches before you know it. One of the best methods that I know of is to grab a stitch marker. Oh, one second. To grab a stitch marker. And pin it there in case this gets pulled, because if it does, The stitch marker will stop it from frogging. It's called frogging because you have to rip it. Ribbit. Get it? Yeah. So we put a stitch marker in that hoop so that we don't lose it while we're looking at our work, or if we're transporting our work, or if we've just set our work down. Anything can happen, guys. Stitch marker in the hoop anytime you're not working on it is an absolute godsend. Okay. All right, so let's go ahead and count our stitches for our first row really quick. It's very important in your project that you make sure that your stitch count is correct. Okay, so let's go ahead and count. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13. So it's because I did that added stitch over here, and I'll actually take that out because that was my mistake. But you see how easy it is to go ahead and add a stitch to the work when you didn't realize. And this is why it's very important to go ahead and count your stitches on your row. Yep, and that's why. My slip knot was loose and I thought that it was a stitch. It wasn't. This is exactly why it's super important. I could have even had a stitch marker in the last stitch, which would have really helped me identify that that was the last stitch to do. Instead, I had put a stitch over here. Oops. Okay. All right, so let's go ahead and continue to row 2. So we have our hook in our loop. We have made our 12th single crochet. We have counted our stitches. Like so. We've ignored that end piece right there because that's just my yarn misbehaving. Let's go ahead and turn our work. So we're going to turn it like the pages of a book. Sometimes it feels very natural to flip it this way. I have found that it doesn't really matter, and maybe somebody will educate me, but I have found that it doesn't really matter which way you actually turn your work. If you turn it this way, or if you turn it towards the back, like so. As long as the work turns, I have found that it works out to be pretty much the same way. So, hasn't created an issue yet. If somebody knows better than me, absolutely educate me on it because I would love to know. I have not experienced that. So you're going to run into stuff that nobody's ever seen before, and there's going to be stuff that you've never seen before that somebody who's only been crocheting for 6 months may have already experienced. Okay, so let's go ahead and start on row 2. Now, a lot of patterns when you're working with single crochets will ask you to do a turning chain, and that is just yarning over and pulling through. I don't do turning chains on my work. I have in the past. I'm not doing them for this project. So we have the yarn on the hook. We have turned our work. We have our working yarn here at the back. There is a stitch right here. I'm going to make a single crochet underneath this stitch right here. Okay. Put my yarn in, or my hook in. Good grief. What a day. It's going to look like that. Okay. I'm going to yarn over and I'm going to pull through, pull up a loop, 2 on my hook. I'm going to yarn over again and pull through. And that's how it's going to look. And I just lost my hook on my yarn. Okay. When I tighten it like this, that's what I'm checking for, is to make sure that that yarn closest to me is the one that's still moving, like so. Okay. All right, so let's go ahead and make a single crochet into the next stitch, which is going to be right here. I'm going to abuse the stitch a little bit to give you more of a better look. So this is where our single crochet currently lives, right here. So we're going to be putting our hook head into this stitch, which is underneath this chain right here. So to show you, I'm going to go under both legs of that stitch, like so. This is what it's going to look like. And you guys, if at any point in this video you have trouble seeing the stitches, or you want me to make a short where I clarify something for you, I absolutely am happy to do that. Please let me know down in the comments. I will happily address that. All right, so you've got your hook in that stitch. You have your tension. You're going to go ahead and yarn over. You're going to go ahead and pull up a loop, like so. You're going to yarn over and pull through two. Let me get that yarn tail out of the way. That's probably confusing people too. I do plan on actually making some videos with some beginner yarn as well. I know that for beginners, sometimes regular yarn is more difficult to see. The beginning yarn is great. I got some off of Amazon. It's what a lot of the crochet kits will use. It's really great for amigurumi characters. I have used it a lot. It's wonderful, but it can also just misbehave. You never know. You have to have a really tight tension with beginner yarn, and I don't try to support people by having a tighter tension. I feel that the yarn should flow through your fingers. It shouldn't be super taut. It should be pluckable. If that makes any sense, I hope I have reached somebody, because yeah, I don't know how else to describe it, and nobody's ever described it to me. They've always just said, yeah, you just hold your tension. So you have to find your happy little medium. Okay. So in this next stitch here, which you will see this line here, and you will see the stitch on top, we're going to go in between these two things right here. Okay. Go underneath that stitch. God, I don't know if it's my eyesight or my camera, but I hope that this isn't blurry, guys. Okay. We're going to go ahead and yarn over and pull through, pulling up the loop. This is the one that was already sitting on your hook. Okay. We're going to yarn over and pull through two again. Next stitch, go underneath both of those legs. Gosh, this yarn. You know, guys, it is an inexpensive option to use this acrylic yarn from Dollar Tree. However, I am noticing that there is some things about it that if I was working it up and I just had my rhythm, it would probably work up really nice. But teaching with it has become a little bit of a challenge because it is stretching out on me for some reason. So bear with me. I know it probably looks like crap, but just bear with me. I promise I make really pretty work. This is not it. So let's go ahead and put our hook underneath that stitch there. That next stitch, we're going to go ahead and yarn over. Oops, I lost my tension for a second. There we go. So it should look like this. Your hook should be flush with the top stitches here. Yarn over, pull through 2. Let's go ahead and finish out the row together. If you need to practice your single crochets more, please go ahead and rewind the video. Let's go ahead and finish out the row. So one thing I did want to mention, if you are trying to put your hook into a stitch and you're having a very hard time with it, your tension is too tight. However, I just wanted to keep this as simple as possible so that we could learn today. All the tips and tricks will come with time, and I'll probably show you on the next video with the beginner yarn that I used a larger hook size for the chain and then a smaller hook size for the work. I just had my yarn just slipped and I made this big stitch that I didn't need to make. All right, so put it underneath that V in that stitch. You're going to pull up a loop, make sure that they're even. You're going to yarn over and pull through 2. This might be horrible yarn for this video. I can see it pretty well, but I'm hoping that it works for you too. If it doesn't, please let me know because I will never use it again on a video. I was trying to find something that would be easy to see the stitches, and while it probably looks great in the video, it's not looking great with my eyesight right now. And I don't know if that's just my eyesight or if it's the actual video. So please let me know in the comments. I aim to improve, so there will be more videos that will be better going forward. I'll make 100,000 videos for you if it all helps you. Okay, yarn over and pull through. And then the next stitch. Oops. Okay, so this end, it might get a little tricky for you if you're using similar yarn than as I'm using. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to take another hook. Move that out of the way. Ugh. Okay, so I wanted to show you guys this. This is a stitch. If you're working with the same yarn, I do apologize. The stitch on my hook is the one that we need to go into next. It needed to be stretched out in order to find it. I couldn't. That didn't feel good. Okay, let me just tell you that didn't feel awesome. It literally needed to be stretched out. It had gotten tight. So let's go ahead and we'll work our stitch into it. But I had to use a larger hook. You can even use the hook that you're using and just abuse the stitch. That's what they call it. They just call it opening the stitch. And sometimes it is necessary. You never know how yarn's going to behave. That's why we make these swatches. So last single crochet. All right, so your work should look something like this. I have mine kind of stretched out right now because I was trying to get my yarn to behave. But that is 2 rows of single crochet. Okay. All right, so again, we're going to go ahead and turn our work. You can turn it either towards the back or up towards the front, like you're turning the pages of a book. All right, so for the third row, we're going to do the same, and this is going to be the last row of this swatch. So we're going to go ahead and push into this stitch right here. Let me go ahead and there it is. So that stitch right there, so you can see, is where we're going to put our hook. Let me, yep, my loop got twisted. Okay, now the right one is, okay. So go ahead and put the hook head in there. Pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, and let's go ahead and finish out the row. And remember, you're going under this stitch right here. So it's the V's from the row below that you are entering underneath. Both of the legs of the V is where you are putting your stitch. So if you're uncertain, please go ahead and rewind the video. Okay, so we're going under that V, we're yarning over and pulling up a loop, yarning over and pulling through 2. Again, under both legs of that V on the top, yarning over and pulling up a loop, yarning over and then pulling through both of them. Into the next stitch, yarn over, pull up the loop, yarn over, pull through 2. And last one, guys. So into the stitch, it got tight on me again, but I was able to pop it this time. So into the stitch, yarn over, and pull through 2. Congratulations! You have made a slip knot, a foundation chain, and 2 rows, or 3 rows, 2 rows of single crochet. I forgot that the foundation chain, yeah, it's 2 rows. Okay, anyways, congratulations, guys. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for the next one. And leave me a comment on how you felt about this video and what I can improve on. I hope you have a wonderful day and happy stitching.